Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Wing Game, and something on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you on a Let's Play episode of Beasts of the Thorns. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? Alarm chaining, we're up, and let's go! Right there we go, okay. He took out 2 tubes and locked the others back in the safe. Just in case, I'll put them in the dog and Fox's bag. If not used, return it to me. It's very valuable. And Hess, you can't get hurt, okay? A nod. Bjorn suddenly appeared at the door. Psst! Come on! Ostrom's coming up! Be in big trouble if they find out we opened the safe! Darwin skillfully locked the safe, returning the bookshelves, and pushed Amor and me out of the office. Just down the stairs, I saw Ostrom walking toward the lobby to gather members for an announcement. Everyone pay attention to this side of the room. I have an announcement to make. Tomorrow is the 9th Squad's routine hunt. Alumni will be visiting, and as usual, we'll set up projection equipment in the mead hall for them to watch the live broadcast. But we can't rule out that the alumni might wander around the first and second floors to see the exhibit. So everyone, be careful. Don't throw personal items around, especially you, Damien. There was a flurry of chuckles from the crowd, only to see a ceremonial cat scratching his head in embarrassment. We have 3 rookies going out with the 9th Squad. This is their first hunt. The 9th Squad leader takes care of it. The hare on duty at the counter this morning nodded his head in silence. So it looks like he's the 9th Squad leader. The newcomers hunting with the team are Chris Gussie, Amor the Wild, Dry Fox, and Hess. Amor the Wild, Dry Fox, okay. There's a lot of talk among the members. They haven't been trained yet, have they? Didn't they just join? Ostrom raised his hands to signal silence. I'll be there to supervise. It's basically just a show for the alumni. Most of the newbies go home empty-handed anyway. Everyone fails on their first hunt, right? Members think of their own youthful days and agree to nod their heads. Kadan, how's the weather tomorrow? Ostrom called out a member named Kadan, the bull, who seemed a bit puzzled. Reporting to the president, it's supposed to be sunny, but... Report to the President. Our recent fate line fluctuations have been significant, so the probability of rare events occurring will increase. Therefore, I cannot assert that tomorrow will be a sunny day. End of report. Ostrom's expression became hard to read, and he paused for a moment before continuing. You heard what Kadan said. Tomorrow will be sunny, but you still need to be careful about the rain, too. The force becomes dangerous whenever there's not enough sunlight. So if the weather changes, don't hesitate to close up the group right away. Your lives are more important than any grade. There's no point in talking about staying longer. Remember the tragedy of Team 5? The sun went down, they were still trying to hunt more birds, only to have their prey turn to dust. The members laughed. Listen to the President. I still have a picture on my cell phone of Wesley crying over the ashes of a prickly bird. One second, y'all. Crack this baby open. Alright. A robust caribou emitted a small whimper. Wait for the 9th Squad to go with the Vice President to receive the replenishment supplies. Members who are not present on site should be coordinated with the squad leader for collection. That is all. Dismissed. I winked at Amor to go trip Chris. Then I moved to Ostrom. Then I moved to stop Ostrom. Clever Amor didn't need to resonate to know what I meant, and he headed for the basement to find a way to stall Chris and not interfere with my negotiations with Ostrom. Senior Ostrom, excuse me for a moment. Come to my office and talk. I just had to order lunch delivery. When we stepped into the office, Ostrom paused for a moment and kept sniffing into the air. Oh shit, he sensed we were messing with his office. But just when I thought I was about to get yelled at, Ostrom called the restaurant and ordered tacos for delivery. Ostrom looked right at me after he ordered. So, what did Darwin take? My heart sank. He must have recognized our scent, and there was no use denying it. He took 2 tubes of alchemy potion. This is not the first time he has taken it without authorization. Just apply with me, and I will definitely give the reversal potion. It is with this potion in hand that I dare risk letting you go hunting. Darwin had seen me use the reversal drug and knew it was high price, but he managed the books without ever questioning why there was no record of the reversal drug being imported or purchased on the purchase list. The total cost of this batch of pharmaceuticals is equivalent to 1 month's recurring expenses for the fraternity. And the person who manages the books can't have no doubts about that. That's where he's not sharp enough, and one of the reasons why I don't want to give him fraternity work. How did that alchemy tea I gave you last time taste? Ostrom suddenly turned the conversation in a strange direction, and I froze. It smells good, and it works well. Thank you. The effect of the market is good, and with the taste and the color are not satisfactory, which cost me a lot of effort. My brain stopped for a split second. A sudden realization dawned on me. So the alchemy or herbal tea he served me wasn't commercially available, but he prepared it himself? I sucked in a breath. You're an alchemist? I should have mentioned that I love philosophical alchemy. Yes, I have a Dragon-class philosophical alchemist license. The chemical potions in the safe and the alchemical tea you're tasting are all my concoctions. I have been called the most outstanding president of the Wild Hunt in recent times. Not because I am the best hunter, but because no member of the group has ever had an accident during my tenure. Thanks to my philosophical alchemy skills, Chris will be very safe under my stewardship. If Chris's threat isn't an accident, then yes. Ostrom's eyes squinted. What are you trying to say? I know what you're going to do. All of it. It's Lucas again, isn't it? Ostrom grumbles. It's strange. Why am I the one who gets all the attention and not him? People see me as a savior, and they see me as a doomsayer. They see me as an unexploded bomb, watching my every move. But I don't think I'm special. Lucas is the special one. Ostrom whined with childlike displeasure. But for our future, Chris is necessary. But you didn't tell him at all how risky it was for you to hide things. I'm sure I got the message across that he needed to know. Containing the price of a failed hunt? Ostrom looked bored. That's the biggest variable right now. Unfortunately, Chris knows everything. His complicated family inheritance issues, the risk of exile or entrapment. But even though he knows, he's unwilling to part ways with you. I grabbed Ostrom's chest hair in anger. You're the one who lured Chris into this shitty game with Nud, so you figure it out. Ostrom grabbed my hand and forced me to let go. He was too strong for me to fight. My hand was being ungraciously bent, and Ostrom was purposefully inflicting maximum pain on me without hurting me, and I had to release my grip. Don't scratch a gentleman's chest hair. It's very impolite. I only provided the conditions. The choice was Chris's. I never interfered with his free will. If he chooses to carry the risk, it's his choice. Then at least postpone the hunt. He's not ready. Ostrom let go of my hand and sighed. Can't be done. Since you entered the Outer Realms, you have been discovered by the Baskerville, whose members have not yet made up their minds as to what they want to do with Chris. Their members are divided into two factions, the majority wishing to banish Chris, and the few members friendly with Nud, while willing to accept Chris, are also unwilling to allow him to take his place as heir. If we don't get Chris out in the open before it's too late, Baskerville may get a head start on denying Chris's identity, and then he'll be in a much tougher position than he's ever been in. I'm not a bloodless man, Hess, but sometimes when you don't take the initiative, you're at the mercy of the enemy. Chris ran out of options a long time ago, and instead, going along with me was the way to serve his best interests. What you should have done was not to question me, but to convince Chris to accept teaming up with a Moor. I was just saying that when I saw Chris bursting into Ostrom's office in a huff, followed by an Moor who had failed his mission. The fox was so guilty he couldn't even look me in the eye. Ostrom, this isn't what it was supposed to be. Hess shouldn't be involved. Ostrom put on a big smile. I'm the one who wants to say this. Our little brother isn't a simple character. He found out all the truth on his own. Second, y'all. It is water time. Alright, guys and gals, we are back. Let's jump right back into it, shall we? Okay. Hess, this is all my own personal dictum. You don't have to worry about me. Then team up with a Moor for the hunt. No matter what you have to score tomorrow, I'll deal with you after we get through with this. Chris, don't make those puppy eyes. I know him too well. He's so unwilling to compromise. At this point, even when you push him hard, it won't work. He looked at me anew, with his mournful doggy eyes. Hess, I can do this. We've known each other for so long. When have I ever let you down? Chris, we've known each other for a long time. You should know that I don't believe in verbal assurances. Have you mastered the zone yet? Chris smiled slightly and gave Ostrom a wink. Ostrom threw something at Chris, who quickly picked it up and showed it to me in the palm of his hand. There were 5 of Ostrom's fountain pens lying neatly on top. He caught Ostrom's pens in that split second. But then I looked over Chris's shoulder and saw that there was another fountain pen stuck in the doorframe, and Ostrom had thrown 5 pins. Chris is confident and smiling. There's nothing to say now. You better be sure. It's all covered. We will be the new legends of the Wild Hunt, seeing his bright, innocent smile like a little boy's. And yet I can't smile. At noon, we were eating tacos in the lounge, and the bean filling gave him. He's not suited for that kind of food. Ostrom discussed the hunting plan with us over lunch, and after we finished eating, he continued one-on-one teaching with Chris, leaving me into more with Bjorn. I called Diego to ask for leave. The dear man graciously agreed, but reminded us that we must make up for the online classes. Professor Diego was really nice, isn't he? The only course I passed last year was his structural mechanics. I looked at him speechlessly. Bjorn, your schoolwork sucks too. He saw our scornful looks and hastened to change the subject. The Forest of Thorns is a relatively safe forest around here. There are very few other creatures in it except for birds, and the risk of being bitten by poisonous insects and snakes is very low. And because of the birds and the plants in the forest bear fruit all year round, so you don't have to worry about food. But you must learn to recognize which plants are edible and which are poisonous. There are several species of poisonous nettles in the forest, so avoid them if you see them. Bjorn pulled out a huge botanical atlas and displayed it for us to see. He pointed out a few plants to avoid in particular, including the famous Balder's mistletoe. None of the mushrooms in the forest are recommended, and although there are several varieties of rare, inexperienced people often pick the wrong ones and get poisoned. Some are poisonous only to certain magical creatures, and others are poisonous only in the spring, so avoid trying them with your life. Hess would be the safest in the mountain accident, and because you don't need to eat, drink, or even breathe. You wouldn't die even if buried in an avalanche. Alright, I'm going to pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!